Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Friday, February 9th at 11:11 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. You're looking at the predicted CM IP6 model, which includes the sun, and this is the predicted modern eddy minimum or landshite minimum that we are entering. Quad Cities now. Snow record may be broken to the 1880s. We're talking 1886, a 7-day total continuous snow, consecutive days with measurable snow is going to be broken. And it is broken. And what does that mean for us? That brings us way back to cycle 12. Now I want you to take a look at cycle 12 and take a look at cycle 24. And you tell me if sunspots have anything to do with cycles. Cycles of weather. Cycles of weather that we're experiencing right now. The Quad Cities snow record from the 1800s is about to be broken. Remember those record highs last year? Well, we're about to set a much different record this month. The longest stretch of consecutive days with measurable snow in the Quad Cities, that's you, Iowa, Davenport, is 7 straight days. And this happened way back in 1886, January 14th through the 20th. That's a snow boom. Snowstorm hits Madison area harder than forecast. I don't think I ever said anything like that. I predicted these forecasters are not going to know how to call these weather patterns, and here's evidence. They were only off by about 30%. A snowstorm delivered a stronger blow than expected to the Madison area overnight as the axis of heavier snow moved to the north, hitting the area with 5 to 7 inches of snow instead of the 3 to 5 predicted. Now, Dave Schlotthauer probably nailed that. Chicago weather, winter storm dumps up to a foot of snow across the area. Guys, if you weren't looking, the biggest snowstorm of the year bore down on Chicago today and yesterday, with some areas receiving a foot of snow. A winter storm warning is in effect for Grundy, LaSalle, Kankakee counties of Illinois and Lake County, Indiana until 9 p.m. and Porter County until 10 Friday, which just expired. As of 5:15 p.m., Le Mont had reported the highest snow total with 12 inches recorded. Orland Park, 10.5. 8.8 was recorded in Midway International Airport. Naperville had 8. Chicago, Chi-Town, 6.9. Evanston, total of 6. I'll leave you links to all these things. City and suburbs are digging out. Guys, records are being broken everywhere in the last 24 hours. It is getting crazy, and we're about to get crazy in Colorado. Snow, bitter cold returned to much of Wyoming. Cheyenne, heads up. Snowy weather returned for parts of Wyoming on Friday, causing slick and hazardous travel conditions and ushering in bitter cold temperatures. Winter weather advisories are posted for the areas in central and southeastern Wyoming on Friday afternoon. This includes Interstate 90, I-25, I-80 being slick. Bitter cold air is accompanying the snowstorm with below zero wind chills expected across much of the state Friday night through Saturday. Heads up Wyoming, heads up Colorado. We're about to get dumped on much needed snow. Down here in the southern mountains, they're really dry. But what is coming through in the next 48 hours is 10 to 16 inches of global warming, coating the Rocky Mountains in equal amounts everywhere. Here we are right in this area, and it looks pretty good for everybody. So I'll leave you that map if you're in the Colorado area. Extreme cold warnings issued for parts of north, central, and southern Alberta. Global warming right there. Environment Canada has issued a number of extreme cold warnings across Alberta on Friday. Minus 40 degrees Celsius Friday morning was recorded. A statement from Environment Canada said extreme cold warnings are issued when it's really cold. Boom. Oh man, these people are brilliant. We know what this rhymes with, but just 9 days into the month, Regina has already doubled the average number of frigid February days. Regina has seen 5 February days with temperatures under minus 30 C, and there have only been 9 days. That's twice the monthly average in just over the first week. If it seems like it's colder than usual in Regina, that's because it is. Just over a week into the month, February has already brought 5 days with temperatures dipping below 30 C. That's double the monthly average of 2.5 days with temperatures that low. Double the monthly average in 9 days. Well, that would be triple the monthly. What? That's a lot. Saskatchewan Energy warning of possible gas leaks due to temperature swings. I actually like it here, says Saskatchewan folks, unfazed by the latest cold snap. Many parts of the province, including Regina, were under extreme cold warnings earlier Friday, but those warnings had all ended, thank goodness, because it's going to warm up to minus 10 C next week. Oh, glorious. Oh, why are you living there? Calgary, Alberta, setting new snow records. Whew. This global warming is really screwing things up. Friday, February 9th, Calgary, you might not need a little time to process this, kids. For the first time period in February, you have had the most snow on the ground ever recorded in history. During the hottest year ever. Woo! Your daily ground snowfall totals for February 2018 have been epically increasing every day. Oh my goodness, look at that graph. That's a global warming graph. It goes up, up, and up, right? It's hotter. That's why it's green. The city is facing similar amounts of snowfall to the September 2014 super snowfall of 30 plus centimeters, which brought numerous power outages and crippled the city for several days. With 13.2 centimeters of snow yesterday, it was Calgary's snowiest day in 3 years. Now, these consecutive systems are really beginning to add up. In fact, Thursday was the snowiest single day recorded in Calgary since the massive event back in September of 2014. Truly amazing snowfall rates are recorded in a process called mesoscale banding, which brought tight pockets of higher lift and better dynamics for making snow directly over the city of Calgary, which continues for decades and forms the eventual glaciers, which will advance south into North America. The potential for these consecutive bands was sniffed out ahead of time, according to certain people. What's up next? More snow. The GFS models are showing event after event all the way into March. The Great Lakes are going to be breaking records. Erie is going to continue to break records. And now Windsor-Essex has broken the snowfall record, and it's still coming down as of today. 2 more rounds of snow are expected to hit Windsor-Essex over the weekend. Whew, in the hottest year ever. Woo! That heat really makes for tons of snow, doesn't it, folks? The snowfall in Windsor has piled past the 48-year record, and more is on the way. A total of 18 centimeters of snow was measured at the Windsor Airport as of 9 p.m., according to Environment Canada meteorologist Mark Schuster. Now, that's enough to beat the 14.5 centimeter standard set back for the state back in 1970. It looks like this is the snowiest February 9th ever, said Schuster, in the hottest year ever. Grand solar minimum much? We don't like this guy. He's a shill, by the way. But it's a really cool jiffy. Lots of snow this weekend and no end to winter in the forecast. He predicts 2 to 4 centimeters could fall Saturday with up to 10 centimeters on Sunday. That's 12 centimeters if you add. Some people in the room don't really know how to do that. Exceptional mobilization as cold wave hits Morocco in the Sahara Desert. And South Morocco has been blanketed by an extremely rare snow again. South Morocco, not central Morocco or northern Morocco, South Morocco. Moroccan authorities have announced Friday, or February 6th, that they temporarily closed 900 schools due to cold wave and severe weather conditions expected to continue affecting the country. At the same time, southern Morocco experienced its second snowfall of the season and in fact, the second snowfall in 50 years. The current situation comes just 15 days after exceptional snowfall caused unprecedented road conditions across the country that we reported on. It's really hot out there. Worldwide volcano news, cosmic ray flux is on the increase as well as the volcanic activity. Today, Reventador, Mayon, Sabancaya. Mayon erupted today as well as twice yesterday. Sabancaya is experiencing intermittent emissions. Reventador is ongoing volcanic ash emissions. And we have some seismic uptick in the Öræfjökull, Caldera in Iceland, where we have seen seismic uptick on the mid-ocean ridge in that particular region, as well as in the Caldera area for the last week. This is a 3.4 earthquake that is not showing up anywhere, according to the USGS, because they downgrade everything and obfuscate the truth. Because, folks, they're connected to a bunch of people we don't like. We're going to learn about them in a minute. Maybe. So Öræfjökull 3.4 occurred this morning, 3.2 kilometers southeast of Hanfenster under the volcano's caldera. More here, Turrialba is continuing to outgas with volcanic ash emissions after it woke up a few days ago. And here's another eruption that happened 24 hours ago at Mayon. And the redundancy is clear. Now, we've got some information coming in from Master Shannon, and also it's being reported on the wire about some scientific information coming out about a massive caldera they have identified in this region. Now, this is associated with a known volcano, and it is now confirmed off Kagoshima, the world's largest caldera at 10 kilometers. On October 9th, the Kobe University Ocean Bottom Exploration Center opened the world's largest lava dome. I think it means discovered, and it's a bad translation, because if they opened it, we would know it, because it would be exploding in massive fashions. 10 kilometers in diameter, 600 in height, the subterranean volcano Unica caldera, 20 kilometers, located approximately 50 kilometers south of the Satsuma Peninsula in Kagoshima Prefecture, meters, volumed over 32 cubic kilometers. This thing is massive, folks. And their activity and uptick at this caldera began in 2014, which is why they studied it. Because here there's a small cinder cone and several other associated fissures and mini cinder cones in this region that became active, including a large hole that formed on the side of this volcano in 2014. But after they did a seismic survey, they determined that this is actually the eruptive caldera here with a larger rim here, meaning that a VEI 7 or VEI 8 blew out of this baby. And they're putting the time frame on that at around 6800 during the last major cooling period in the Holocene, or eruption at 7300 would have caused that cooling for 1,000 years. So the Unica caldera may have caused the cooling that lasted a very long time. Now look at this three-dimensional cross-section of the size of this central lava dome. And this is coming from seismic study. And they have evidence that this area is active. So this is a game ender if this blows up. And there is more evidence that this is more active than Yellowstone. So those of you worrying about Yellowstone, I've given you something actually you could worry about. The submarine volcano Unica caldera. Now, a recent paper was published that says that there is a 1 in 100 probability this will blow up or something, but probabilities are like opinions. According to the center, a gigantic caldera erupting magma above 40 cubic kilometers in size has occurred 10 times in the past 120 years in this archipelago. The eruption of Unica caldera is the last, and the center director, Professor Yoshiyuki Tatsumi Magma, said the probability of a huge caldera eruption occurring in the Japanese archipelago is 1% in the next 100 years. And all we need is one eruption in one of those 100 years. But the worst case is about 100 million people will be killed almost instantly within 24 hours, and presented an idea aiming at a visualization of magmaraudery for eruption prediction. I have no idea what that is, but I'll leave you links to this article and you can translate it yourself and try to wade through the terrible translation. I'll also leave you links to the Wikipedia, the Caldera, and the area in question here, which is a under ocean caldera that would wreak havoc on the planet for decades. It says to have erupted about 6,300 years ago, and I don't have the right data set to really go look at that. This baby only goes back 4,000 years, but 4,000 years ago, it was cold. Seismic uptick worldwide. We have a series of moderate quakes happening in the Fiji area, 5.6 and a 5.9, Lambasa, at a very deep echoblot depth and a 5.1 at a shallow depth. We have a moderate uptick here in China everywhere, 4.8, 4.6 Linshun, 4.2 Pubu, and a 4.8 in Dangsu. We have an uptick in the Aleutian chain all the way at the tip here towards Kamchatka. At Kiska Volcano, Alaska, 5.2. We'll be watching that for the next volcano to awaken. 5.2 at Kiska Volcano. And we have a pretty large rumbler at 5.8 at Patrico, Mexico, probably wreaking havoc on some people. I couldn't get any information coming out on the newswire, but we have a 3.2 in the geysers. So the hydrothermal activity is active because of the cosmic ray flux. A big 5.2 popping off in Godringtan, 114 kilometers north near Barbuda, which could be raising eyebrows. We could be looking for a large earthquake in this area because we do have an uptick in activity. So let's put a warning out for the Caribbean plate area for the next 2 days. Earthquake simulations of California's Hayward fault, supercomputer modeling, which took over 18 hours and involves endless amounts of calculations, created this amazing video, and I'll leave you links to that. It gives a heads up to all the people living in the San Francisco Bay Area, including our good friend Christian Westbrook, the Ice Age farmer. I think he's up there. And some people might be interested in this. The simulation shows a magnitude 7.0 earthquake, covers most of the populated San Francisco Bay Area. And you're going to immediately notice the major shaking here is up in the mountainous region, but the longest shaking is here in the flat liquefaction area, the valleys. So you have the major reds or the major shaking, so that'll be the major destruction of buildings and structures up in this area. But even though it's less shaking down in the liquefaction zone, you'll have more damage because of structures will sink, tilt, and topple, just like they did in Huilan, Taiwan, the other day, taking many lives. So I'll leave you links to this simulation. Those of you who live in the San Francisco Bay Area might find it helpful for you to put your house up for sale and get the out of there. Because I know that's what I would be doing. Let's talk about the narrative that the powers that be are setting up. Oops, it happened again. I'm sure you heard about the tsunami test alert scare that went out on the East Coast a few days ago. People along the U.S. East Coast and Gulf Coast received a startling message of tsunami warning. Not so different than nuclear attack imminent. This was on Tuesday after a routine monthly test message was mistakenly pushed out by someone. Now, the way that the mainstream is covering this is total nonsense. All these accidents. Oh, we accidentally warned the whole world that there was a nuclear attack. Oh, I'm sorry, we warned everyone on the East Coast they were all going to die from a 1,000-foot wave. And this, I believe, is also associated with an event that happened a month ago, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. The French government is slamming the store that sparked the Nutella riots. This Nutella riot, the more you read into this, they slammed the store. If you come in here It's hilarious. The Minister of Economy and Finance told the store owner that this must be stopped. We can't have this, said Bruno Lemery. Wow, he really, he really gave it to him. So this is all a show, folks. These are social experiments that they're filming. They're watching. They're putting the data into their calculations. They're seeing how many people are asleep, and everyone is. No one reacts. No one's doing anything. It's revealing to them how little they have to do. It's sad. The powers that be are deciding for their safety and the people that pay them, not for the sheep. Well, Teddy Roosevelt said something remarkable. Behind the ostensible government sits enthroned an invisible government, owing no allegiance and acknowledging no responsibility to the people. No truer words have been spoken. Active region 2699 is almost completely Earth-facing. We've had a small flurry of activity rising up again today, high B range, after the sun-diving comet. And the decay that we predicted last night has furthered, and there's almost no mixing at all, but I see some blue popping up here into the negative region. C is still at 40% probability, M at 15, and X at 1, and is back down to beta DAI according to the powers that be. The intensity is quite high on the left side of this spot, or the western limb of the spot. So we'll be watching this spot, and let's go quick check the X-ray flux. And you can see we're back in solar minimum activity, totally flatlined. As it faces the Earth, the data is missing. Let's check the 5-minute data. Okay, there it is. See how flat it is in A range? So here was the sun-diving comet that we reported on last night. We had some activity during the day today. We went right back up to maybe B8 range, and she's come down the spot. So we'll be watching it because it is Earth-facing. I found this interesting PDF I'll link you to, Climate Discovery Teacher's Guide from the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and it is a worksheet on living during the Little Ice Age. So if you have people on the fence or you want to introduce them to what we're talking about, print this out. It talks about key concepts, the Little Ice Age, the period of time. It has the science behind it. It tells you how to teach people about what happened then. It even shows about grain price spikes, what happens when the sun shuts down. It is an amazing PDF, and I can't believe I didn't find it. Mortality of people and livestock in Scotland from 1500 to 1700. This is a worksheet for children in school. It's totally badass, but I guarantee no teacher's using it. I would, but I do not teach these children. So teach your children well, and I leave you these links for homeschoolers and for anyone else that have kids that are being brainwashed. Please give them this worksheet. It's coming directly from the National Center for Atmospheric Research, and I fact-checked it, and it's great. It's a boom. Also, for Mookie Check, How to Survive an Ice Age. This is a bullet list on what you need to do. So those people who think you're screwed or whatever, quick bullet list to get you started. Winter is coming. There's a reason they stopped talking about global warming and started talking about climate change. It turns out that the damage we're doing to our environment might ensure that some places just freeze over. Now, whatever they're saying up here is total BS. We know the science. The channel is about the science. As the sun shuts down, so do the temperatures and other things that exacerbate the temperature drop, including cosmic ray flux causing muon and magma increase heating in the subsurface for high silica-rich volcanoes, the most explosive kind, which blow dust and aerosols into the stratosphere, causing more cloud nucleation on top of the cosmic ray flux, causing the cooling to rapidly increase, sending us into a time of famine, drought, cold, extreme events, and the like, all of which has been recorded in our history books, but seldom shared with the public. So, stockpile food, relearn the basics, consider hydroponic food, move underground, learn how to hunt, animal skins, practical clothes, other practicals too, learn how to treat illness, don't be a loner, and on and on. A bullet list for you terse types. I guarantee you all can read this. And you better do it, because a lighter is not going to save you. And that's a boom. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. The predicted future is in front of you. And it drops off just like the other times. History will repeat itself. And you need to be prepared to survive and thrive in the coming times. Be safe.